Welcome to the Metaphysics Hour. I am your host, Rory Colgan. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, whenever you are here, we're going to do a metaphysical review of Tom MacDonald's Man in the Sky. If you don't know what a metaphysical review is, essentially I use my fancy-dancy pendulum here to rate the song on the map of consciousness. And so we'll do that rating after we go through the song. So without further ado, let's jump in.
There's a man on TV at a desk in a suit. He lies through his teeth and they still call it the news. And there's a man in a white coat whose medicine kills. He loves when you're sick cause you pay for his pills. There's a man at the bank who will give you a loan so that you'll buy a house and then he'll take your home. There's a man who wants you spending your life online. Those are searching for truth but controls what you find. We'll be fine, babe, we don't make it through. There's a man in a church who I really hope told me the truth. Said there's a man in the sky watching over me and you. It don't help if you can fly, 'cause way past the moon. And there's men here on the ground that just wanna burn it down. They want money, they want power, don't want no one else allowed. We'll be fine, babe, I'll be the man for you. There's a man in a court sworn to uphold the law.
All right. So I've reviewed Tom's songs before, and usually they come across as rap. So this is kind of like a rock or alt rock or indie rock aspect to it, and I like that. Now, his voice for me is not particularly like my favorite to listen to, but what you can probably tell is that his message is pretty unique, right? Because talking about things like there's a man that will give you a loan to sell you a house and then take it away from you, or the guy that's pushing the pills, he'll sell them to you because you're paying for those pills, kind of like a Walter White situation, but just with prestige and the approval of the government. Not to say that some drugs don't work for people specifically. It's just that it's nice to see Tom go at this from the perspective of, there's people that are incentivized to essentially screw you over. But that's not necessarily always the case. Like if you do pay your loan, you do get your house right up front. And then, sure, you have to pay it for 30 years or, if you're smart with how you use your money, you can return it or get it paid off from the bank, in 10 years, 15 years, but it takes some sacrifice and all that. And then, of course, there's still property tax and homeowners insurance and all that kind of stuff. So there's different angles to it. But I like this song because, it's a different way of speaking about a message. So let's hear a little bit more of what Tom has going on.
But he's crooked as a fence post and don't do his job. There's a man in a classroom who should know the facts, but he's brainwashing kids, teaching English and math. There's a man in your phone who hears everything you say. He knows everywhere you go, every joke you ever made. There's a man with a bloodline that owns the whole world. Every airplane and building and gold brick and pearl. We'll be fine, babe, if we don't make it through. There's a man in a church who I really hope told me the truth. Said there's a man in the sky watching over me and you. It won't help if you can fly, 'cause way past the moon. And there's men here on the ground that just wanna burn it down. They want money, they want power, don't want no one else allowed. We'll be fine, babe, I'll be the man for you. Pray that the man in the sky's watching over us tonight, 'cause there's people looking down on us for fighting for what's right. Hold the line.
All right. So it's interesting. So there's the man, and he's showcasing all the negative interactions that men can have with others. And then there's a man in the sky, and saying that there's a man in a church that told me that there's somebody watching over us. So essentially talking about God. And so he's questioning or hoping that this God is there. And of course, from a metaphysical level, it's like, doesn't, Tom's words here are, doesn't matter if you can fly because he's way past the moon. And that's poetic, but it's not metaphysical truth, right? The yogi philosophy, the esoteric Christianity philosophy, just the Christian philosophy, and most world religions, I think, speak to the fact that God is nearer than your breath and actually in the space between your thoughts. So God is pervasive and everywhere in our being. It's not just something that's far away. And it sounds like there's a little bit of a prayer towards the end of this particular song, but it's just a great, interesting song that in some ways, like when I listen to Tom's music is to me something like a protest song, like he's speaking out against some particular aspect of the culture. And, I see that, I feel that, I read the news and things of that nature. And it's helpful to have an understanding of what's going on in the world. But it's not necessarily something that like I listen to this on repeat because it's reinforcing the negativity, so to speak. But I do like that there is a silver lining here. There's some hope. So my guess is that when we do the review or the rating of this particular song, it's going to be 200 to 400 range. And normally I don't listen to the whole song, but we have a little bit of time left. So let's just go ahead and finish out the song because there might be something in it that's even has a higher vibration than what we've seen so far.
And I'll hold on to you. There's a man in the clouds and I hope he's looking down, cause there's people here on earth who trying to put us in the ground. We'll be fine, babe, I won't let go of you. Said there's a man in the sky watching over me and you. It won't help if you can fly, he's way past the moon. And there's men here on the ground that just want to burn it down. They want money, they want power, don't want no one else allowed. We'll be fine, babe, I'll be the man for you.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I think there's an aspect here where there's hope, and then there's also that, that love for the other, the person, the personal love. Like, okay, not certain if God's down here and gracing me with his protection and presence, but I will protect you. So there is some, positivity in that regard. But I think this song misses the deeper spiritual truth, but it hints at it. So that's kind of great for people that are on the edge of believing. If you have songs that are too vibrationally high, most people don't want to listen to that because it's not something that they can really relate to. And that's similar to, if you think of the story of Jesus, there were hundreds of people that listened to Jesus, and supposedly Jesus was perfect and had this eloquence and could perform miracles. There were just hundreds of people. There's thousands of people around him that weren't listening to him. And it's because he was, pushing the envelope of what was acceptable and making people feel uncomfortable if they didn't buy into what he was saying. So let's go to the map of consciousness. That should be this one. There we go. All right, so this is the map of consciousness, and I got about a minute left before our time is up. So I finally remembered to bring my pendulum. So we're going to rate it. This is body testing. These are the different levels a song can vibrate at, and basically it's what you can vibrate at. So Man in the Sky by Tom MacDonald. Well, first let's get a yes and no. Show me a yes. Show me a no. Very good. All right, Tom MacDonald's Man in the Sky vibrates at or above 200. That is a yes. Tom MacDonald's song, Man in the Sky, vibrates at or above 310. No. So not a whole lot of optimism, which makes sense because he's talking about all the people that are doing bad things. So it's in between courage and optimism between 200 and 310. And again, this is just an opportunity to see what songs do to our consciousness when we listen. So comment down below what song you want me to